Everybody on? Good evening. The 765th meeting of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission will come to order. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff to the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Chairwoman Blitz.
Here.
Mr. McSeany.
Here.
Councilman Les.
Here.
Mr. Cocoon. Mr. DiLorenzo.
Here.
Mr. Dyer. Mr. Hayes. And we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes for the HDC meeting held on March the 19th, 2013. Do we have any corrections or comments to the minutes? Entertain a motion?
Move for approval. Second that. So you were here.
Madam Secretary, a motion on the floor to approve the minutes made by Councilman Les and seconded by Mr. DeLorenzo. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Les.
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo.
Yes.
Mr. McSeany.
Abstain.
Chairwoman Blitz.
Yes.
And we do, and the motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is HDC 0402013 for 1110 Montgomery Street. Is there someone here? Hi, you want to come have a seat up here?
Okay.
Are you Lisa Everett?
Yes, I am. And I brought here a sample of the roof that shingles that we plan to put on our house.
Okay, so you're replacing the shingles and you're going to reline your gutters.
Yes,
sit down if you
currently
like.
it's rubber kind of coating that doesn't have a long life. So we're relining them with copper so it'll endure. As well as copper flashings.
Gorgeous. Any questions or comments?
You're not going to get a phone call like I got, did you? Are you? Is there plywood underneath the shingles that are up there?
I don't know.
I'm just going to tell a story because I like to tell stories. I'm in Utah, and my wife calls me and says, the contractor just said he's got to put new plywood all over the roof. And I said to her, do it. She said, don't you even want to know what it's going to cost? And I says, well, I'm in Utah. I'm not working. I said, he's got to do it because, of course, the gap was too wide for the shingles. Do you have boards up there? Have you looked at the roof from underneath?
It's visible from underneath.
Is it solid or is it gaps?
It's probably gaps.
Just be prepared.
Okay.
I mean, I've got the same kind of pitch you do. I've got a 12-12 pitch.
Right.
They said what was going to happen was you'd end up with a visible, because we've got architectural grade shingles up there, they're just not heavy enough.
I believe the roofers have been in our attic. We don't have any insulation in there currently. So
Good.
they would have been able to see.
Maybe you lucked out, because some of the gaps aren't, if it's a small gap, you can, in fact, the architectural grade shingles will bridge that and you won't have the problem. I'm going to cross my fingers for you.
Thank you.
How many squares is that up there? Do you know about how many?
No.
Okay, see, I'm asking stupid questions.
Well, I didn't bring with me the quote. It's a very detailed
I'll bet.
contract that we signed contingent on your approval.
I only have one question. Are they going to pull the rubber out of the valleys and put the copper in there? Are they going to put the copper right on top
I believe
of
they're
it?
stripping it all out.
Yeah, okay, good. That's the right way to do it. All right. I have no other questions, man. I like copper. Huh?
Who doesn't? It's beautiful.
Well, it turns beautiful.
Yeah.
Has a nice color later.
That being said.
And I look out of my house every day at one.
We've got
Someday.
another applicants over there cooling their heels here. Let's move along.
Oh, we're having fun.
That being said, would you like to make
I'll make a motion that we approve HDC 0402013, replace the existing roof shingles with smoky quartz, Highland slate designer shingles by Certainteed, and reline the built-in gutters with copper. All new flashing will be copper.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, I have the motion on the floor to approve HDC 0402013 as stated by Councilman Les and seconded by Mr. DeLorenzo. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Les?
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Mr. McSaney?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate your time.
Lovely shingles.
They are. Thank you for bringing them in.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Eight.
Agenda item 4 is HDC 0412013 for 201 6th Street. Hello. And you're Eileen Collins?
I am.
Okay. And you want to put in an A-frame shed and repair and repaint your shutters
And the porch rail.
and the porch rail. Okay, that's fair. So you want to tell us about the shed
The
a
shed,
little bit?
the one that's there is falling apart,
Yes?
needs to go. So we are getting the Elite A-frame T111 shed from Byler's. It will be the same color as our house, white with gray trim, same color roof.
Okay. It comes with the shingles on it?
Yes,
Two.
it's totally done. They just wheel it up the driveway and park it in there on a pad that will be established.
Okay. And the same colors as the house?
Exact same colors.
No windows? So
No windows.
No windows.
Don't want any baseballs through any windows.
Any questions or comments on that item?
Nope. It's a nice shed. I have
We'll
one.
put it in the same place that.
Yeah.
so-
It's actually a little bit smaller, it's like 2 feet smaller, so it won't,
Right.
take up the entire footprint, but it'll be roughly in the same spot.
Is the pad already there?
No,
You
we have to have one put
You have to
in.
put a new pad in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions or comments?
This is the door you're putting as a single door or a double door?
No, it's a double door. It kind of looks like this one without the windows and without the bar in the middle. Let me see if I'll find the exact door in the brochure. It's this green one here, but it'll be
Yeah, no windows.
no windows. And it won't be green.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Mark? You okay, Mark? Do you have any other question or comment? Okay. Somebody like to make a motion?
The application doesn't have a complete date on it, maybe you
Oh.
ought
We
It
have
just says 4-2013,
Oh,
but
Oh.
we can overlook that. Put a date on it, please.
nice attention to detail.
Sorry.
With that correction,
With that
can I have a
correction.
motion?
Move that we approve HDC. Where's the number now? Oh, 041-2013.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, second that.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HDC 0412013 made by Mr. McSaney, seconded by Mr. DeLorenzo. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. McSaney,
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo,
Yes.
Councilman Les,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon,
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz,
Yes.
and the motion carries.
Okay. And everything on the porch is going to be in kind, so that is just
Yep.
an aside.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. We have any new business? Any new business?
Well, you just mentioned to me,
If we'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss the inventory. I have read the minutes from the meeting that I wasn't here, and noticed that was mentioned at the end. What I'd kind of like to be able to do you already have everything together that you'd like to discuss about the inventory?
I gave
where
a
we
copy, I
can-
gave a copy to Marty, I gave a copy to Sonny many, many, many months ago. I don't know if you can still find it, but Marty has a copy that I gave him in the last month.
Do you think we could?
Mike Dyer, correct me if I'm wrong, he wrote out in longhand comments on, I thought it was only on, whatever the historic district that wasn't in the original,
Right, the latest version
Yeah.
of the
Well-
7, I think it was.
yeah. But I'm not sure, but I thought he gave those to you. Did you recall that?
He was working with Cliff. I'll have to dig
Oh, he
and
was
see
working
what I
with
can
Cliff.
find on it, yeah.
Okay, well, whatever.
How much time do you think we would have to have? Do you think we could condense it into an hour and a half?
Well, I don't know, I mean, we can have a meeting and we can quit if we, we don't have to work any longer than we want to work.
Okay.
Did Mr. Fleming say anything to you about this? No. Because we might be otherwise criticized, I think maybe we ought to have our consultant for that meeting. The silence is deafening.
I thought that we were done with the meetings, and I asked Marty, and he said no, that we hadn't really finalized it in a meeting to go over it.
No, we never brought it up. I mean, we started one time and got cut off. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to go back and repeat
Right.
history. It's kind of interesting. I didn't have time. I've been very busy the last couple of days, and I haven't had time to. I was going to go look on Eileen Collins' house because in Robert's report, since we now have a line item for contributing, non-contributing, it says that house is non-contributing, and I wonder why it's non-contributing. I didn't go back to look at my notes to see whether or not that's one of the things I thought was wrong.
Look for.
It's in the staff report.
Yes. I'm looking for it.
Now, I don't know of any reason why it's non-contributing.
No, I would think that it may be, but
I don't think that, they don't give reasons. I don't think.
I think they give reasons for why it is contributing based on architectural style or in the verbiage, but it's like a repeated verbiage. I don't know, on the non-contributing, I think it pretty much just says non-contributing,
Yeah.
which the assumption would be it's not meeting all of the contributing requirements.
Well, let me add one other thing. And I mean, hate to spend the city's money when, we don't have to, but it seems to me before we can make some decisions on contributing and non-contributing among things that we ought to decide, unless you can find some history, Sonny, and I have no idea back in the dark ages whether they did it or not, do we have a period of significance, do you think?
Interestingly enough, I do have, and I think it was written when this first started.
Yeah, that's what it should have been.
I have what the criteria was on the very first inventory that was ever done by those people that did that for the Historic District Commission to be started and
Right.
to give some kind of
Okay,
a ranking on each home. So
okay,
I have what they used, and I have and a lot of the property files have the numbers.
Mhm.
You may have a list of 12 things and they're numbered, like number one
Yeah, right, 'cause
fits this house,
correct.
number 4 fits this house.
Right, yeah,
And
I've
I
seen-
have that
I've seen
with
some of
most of the
those.
properties.
yep,
What I don't have is a grid that each property file has a sheet of paper in it for that particular property with that information on it and a picture to go along with it if it's been intact over the years. What I don't have is like this last inventory gave a grid of each property and whether they considered it contributing and non-contributing. I don't have that for each property in the historic district from the first inventory that was done. But I have what they used as
okay.
for their numbering system and the
Yeah, I think-
definition
yeah,
to go with
Yeah, I've
it.
seen that.
You
long,
have the
long time.
criteria? There's a definition?
Yeah, they have scored, they scored, in
They
effect.
scored.
They scored.
It has to be
Now, who the
scored on
they are,
basis
I'll
of
get that
something.
together for you,
Yeah.
and I'll see if I can find the list of changes that came in, and, because we don't throw too much away back there. It's a matter of trying to go in some order and find it. And I'll also get together the descriptions that were used for our first inventory on what was considered to be it, and I don't think they used the terminology contributing and non, but they did give it a ranking. So I'll get that information together too. I just have to go through and find that. Now I'm off next week, but I'll try to do it the following week
Well, I
and give you
was-
copies of what we have.
The reason I brought it up was because I know that you're very busy right now with
Lots of couple of
a lot of
things.
things, and I'm on a couple things that we're having events and stuff too that we're real busy on, but at our next meeting, and then Sunny can check her calendar, I don't know if you're required to be there or not, or whoever in
I'm
the
not
city
going
is
much through the
required.
summer, but.
Right, but that we can ascertain a date that's agreeable to everybody. The summer is bad, you know, just a date, not at the end of the summer, but
Mhm.
between now and the next couple of months where maybe
Okay.
we can get it. But I'd like everybody to get their notes together so that we can come in and do preparation beforehand so we can maybe, you know, do the
More
meeting on a timely
efficiently.
basis and
Yep.
efficiently, so.
Yeah, if you can find a period of significance, if you would email that to us, that would be very nice. If you go back, you know, whenever you go back to look at this stuff.
Well, I have to see what shape I'll work on it. I'll see
Okay.
what we can do for you.
Can
I mean, I can have it
just-
delivered to you
I
too
mean,
if
these
it's
people that
not.
made the inventory, as far as, neither of the two people, as far as I know, never mentioned period of significance.
I think there's a number of things here. One is, the committee that did that, I don't know what their expertise was.
Mhm.
Maybe they sat down and said, let's just figure out each one of these homes, you know, we'll come up with a way to at least give it some kind of ranking.
Mhm.
And they did that,
Right.
and that's how they started, and that's a good thing with a picture to go along with it. The other thing is, I think if we find, I think the list of corrections that came to the department back there basically were misspellings and rearranging, and the fact that one whole section was left out, which that was corrected. I think the third thing is, what is it that really, I think each person probably needs to formulate in writing what it is they'd like to see accomplished. Like when we meet, what is it, what's our goal? What is it we're trying to do with this? And then, besides just correcting the misspellings and, you know, we did correct the fact that there was a whole huge section missing, we probably need to list what other portions of that aren't giving what it was that needed to be given. Like, if they're using that same verbiage for non-contributing every time, but it's a very generalized verbiage, what does it mean?
Yeah, I don't think when non-contributing, I don't recall there saying anything. So they just put it as non-contributing.
Well, I think it's the assumed, like I said. If it's not contributing based on architectural style, the house next to it, if it's non-contributing, the assumption would be it has no history, it has no architectural style, it has none of those things that make it significant. That's the assumption. Now, whether that's agreeable to the commission or not. That's not my decision, but that's the assumption, I think, when you read through this.
Yeah, I'm going to say something. I'm not convinced when this all started that the people that were engaged in this really understood the history of certain structures in the city. And let me give an example. Is the corn crib a significant building?
I don't recall.
Well, let's assume for a minute it is, because everybody thinks that building is not that old. I spent an hour the other night going around the foundation. It's got a cinder block foundation, number one. I don't think what's there now is exactly what was there 100 years ago, because I have a picture of our house with the building behind it, and it isn't that big. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let me give you a couple of examples, because I've sort of been writing some things down to myself. One of the oldest houses on Montgomery Street is not one of those big houses. It's actually the third house down from Mrs. Gatto's. The front portion of that house was where Uncle Bob was born, and it was old when he was born there. It was like a log cabin. The front part of the house, then they put the back on it. It was a very old house on that street because there was a gazebo on the corner. Most people don't know that, but where Mrs. Gatto's house is. And I'm just thinking out loud that maybe we really haven't, I'm not saying we should do it, but maybe somebody can set the rest of their life. I pointed to somebody, see? He needs a job now that he's resigned from something or another. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is I'm not convinced. I mean, we have this wonderful walking tour of Laurel with some nice houses. Those are the obvious ones, but I'm not so sure there aren't some other structures that are significant.
I mean, do you think the house you're talking about is listed in there as non-contributing?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. That's why I want to take a look at Jim. For example, the house that Mike Walls is in, and the one next to it, they were built after the Civil War.
Sure. Well, I mean,
Most people don't think they're that old. That's all I'm saying. It was on set stone foundations. There were 2 rooms up and 2 rooms down. There was hardly anything else on that street at the time. That's why you got streams running through the basement of both of them.
You're talking about his residence or his business?
No, I'm talking about the residence. Where Johnny DePietro lived, June Tuzo lived there before them, Nick the Greek lived there. I mean, there's some interesting history with some of these houses. But I actually had something that says the house cost $200 to build after the Civil War for the one I lived in. Now, Mike's and mine were built at the same time. And of course, the one where we lived on the right-hand side, they built out the back. Mike built out the side and the back. But again, I'd like to sort of get my arms around this, what's significant. Not just the architecture, but its history too, I think goes along. We're in agreement with that. And I'm not a writer. I wish our writer could write some of this stuff down, but I have been making some notes because I have a picture of Uncle Bob's house when he was born there, and it was old then. That's all I'm saying. And then some of those other houses, Boss's house is fairly old.
Well, our period of significance, I'm sure, goes into the 30s. Because we have the largest collection of Victorian houses in the county. Still have.
We've only lost a couple of them.
Okay.
Lindsay Mansion, the duplex over on 4th Street that they tore down. So we've lost a couple of them, but we haven't lost a whole bunch of them.
No, we're still in good shape.
I think it's important that we sort of, for our posterity, make sure that we sort of get all these notes
to the
together.
history.
You can get that together for us, you think,
That would be
Sonny?
you. So,
Thanks.
thank you. We have a historical person here who has access to all those records, many, many records.
There's a lot of records around Laurel. They're not all in one place.
They're not. A lot
That's
of
what I'm
people have
saying.
it, individuals.
Well, since we're chit-chatting, I found out today that at the Laurel auction, anybody ever been to the Laurel auction?
No.
It's an
I didn't
interesting
know we
place.
had one.
You didn't know we had one?
No, I really didn't.
This guy, we used him when we were getting rid of some stuff from the
Well,
house.
maybe I did. Stuart Hurt
He
may have
apparently
recommended
has
it to me.
just a terrific reputation of being honest, which is not too common among auction houses, apparently. And
I wouldn't put that in the
there was
same
there was a
sentence.
thing auctioned off last week. It was a map of Laurel, and very old, when what is now the Holiday Inn on Schweitzer Lane was a Best Western, I guess it was, something like that. And around the map are all these business cards of businesses in Laurel. And by each card is a button. And you press the button, and it lights up where the business
I
was.
think I remember seeing.
Well, there was a guy that put those together for several years running. Not with the buttons, but the map, actually it was like a,
Well, this was made
Laurel.
by Best Western or whatever the motel was. They apparently did it in many towns where they
yeah,
had.
do you remember that, Sonny, when somebody would go around?
I have one.
Yeah, see,
Like
that
the
was done,
almost like cartoon
not the one with the
characters.
buttons, but I'm just talking about this map. It was like, they had the roads, the main roads, they'd show houses, then they'd have the business, and, there's where it is on Main Street, there's where it is down, Laurel Fuel Oil, so on. I mean, that's 35 years ago, 40 years ago.
I have one. I'll bring one to the next meeting. It's kind
Yeah.
of cute. The one I have is kind of cute. It's like
Paint it.
yeah, you'll see the map of Laurel, and it'll show the McDonald's arches where the
Yes,
McDonald's
where the
is.
original McDonald's was.
Right, the original
Okay,
McDonald's.
did you get that for the auction, your auction? The one with the buttons?
No.
Well, I thought you were gonna get it and bring it to your auction.
I mean, this thing, there were two people
There was a
fighting
bidding-
each other for it.
Where was the auction?
At the auction house.
Was
Where?
one of them Petey?
Down in Laurel Commerce Center, whatever it's called,
Okay.
across from
Down in the
McDonald's.
How much did it sell for?
I think it sold for $80. Bill Welford was one of the bidders.
I'm surprised you didn't buy it and bring it to the auction. Donate it.
The silent auction.
I haven't been to that auction and.
No, bring it to the Historical Gala auction.
We didn't buy it.
You should have. I'm just giving him a hard time. I'm in a happy mood tonight.
You are.
I don't know why.
The pollen must be affecting you.
I've never been down to that auction. What's the guy's name?
Can't tell you his name.
But he's the honest guy.
He's an honest guy.
That must be the person that does he do estate auctions? Because Stuart Hurt handled an auction house to
He
liquidate
has
my
two
parents'
auctions.
stuff.
He has auctions every other week, Thursday night and Friday night.
I think that's
Thursday
it.
night is all small stuff, and Friday night is big stuff.
Oh, I thought maybe it was people from Ocean City. Sonny. I thought maybe it was people from Ocean City. Remember that, 9th Street? Sure, the family used to go down to Palm Beach every winter.
No other new business?
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Laurel auction. Dale Martin is his name.
Dale Marton?
No, T-I-N. At least I have it spelled T-I-N. That doesn't mean it's right.
I'm gonna have to go down there. I'm gonna have to get my neighbor to come get me on his way.
Or Thursday and Friday?
Thursday and Friday.
And Friday's the big stuff.
Do you go every week?
What? I haven't been in 10 years.
Hasn't been in 10
Well,
years.
why haven't you come and gotten me to take me with you?
I haven't been in 10 years. You can go with Margie or Bill Walford. They are
No,
great.
I want to go with the
And
expert.
Stacy.
I want to go with the expert.
Yeah. Maybe someone. We can tape it. Any old business, any new business? Nothing. Nothing going on. Everybody go to the Historical Society Gala, and then everybody come to the Main Street Festival.
Right, they should.
Don't forget to buy a firework.
That
Only
too.
costs $20.
By who?
Fireworks.
A rocket. You can buy a rocket.
Speaking of rockets, there's a big missile launch tomorrow at Wallops Island, 5 o'clock.
kind of
And then terrorist.
rocket?
We'll come back to Wallops in a minute.
Okay.
You can buy one of the fireworks they send up in the air. Go to the 4th
do.
of July committee, there's a form there. It only costs $20, and they'll mention your
You
name.
could just clean up around or
You
something.
just buy it, and you don't take it home.
No, you must get